At the end of the last video, we learned that if you have a principal p compounding at a rate r, then after n compounding periods, the value of the account is p times 1 plus r to the power of n. And I mentioned in that video that we could think of the exponent here of the 1 plus r. We could think of this exponent as indicating the number of times we've passed through a compounding event at an interest rate of r. Okay, and that's very convenient. So what I want to do now is a weird example, a crazy example, something that would never happen in real life, but will give us, as a good conceptual understanding of whether or not we understand this principle. Okay, so consider the following crazy scheme. Let's suppose that we invest in a fund and it compounds interest at the end of every single day according to the following rates. So every day of the week, every weekday at least, will have a different rate. So Monday is M, Tuesday is T, Wednesday is W, so on and so forth. Now on the weekend, we don't compound at all. Okay, so Saturday and Sunday, there will be no compounding interest. So my question then is, if we invest a principal, let's say on Sunday, so the beginning of the week, then how much money do we have after 3 weeks? Right, so you can see that this is weird and it's not something that we've normally encountered, but we should be able to figure this one out. So I'm going to write out the days of the week here. I'm going to use U for Sunday because I don't want to double the S's. And I'm going to include these dash marks because we compound at the end of every day. So the dash marks actually represent when we compound. Let's put the P under the U for Sunday just to remind us that first day that we invested. And I'm even going to include the rates here just so I remember which rate occurs at the end of which day. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to push that principal P. We're going to push it forward in time until we hit a compounding event, which occurs on the end of Monday. And we pick up this factor of 1 plus M because that's what simple compounding interest tells us. When I hit a compounding event, I pick up that factor of 1 plus the rate. I'm going to take this number, I'm going to push it forward now until I hit the next compounding event, which in this case is Tuesday, and I'm going to pick up another factor of 1 plus t. So that's because, remember, my initial principal now was p times 1 plus m. When I hit the compounding event at the end of Tuesday, that adds on a 1 plus t. And I'm just going to keep on doing this, right? So at the end of Wednesday, I pick up a 1 plus w. At the end of Thursday, I'm going to pick up a 1 plus r. And at the end of Friday, well, I'm running a little bit out of space here, but at the end of Friday, I pick up a 1 plus f. Now, this is getting a little bit tedious, and you can imagine that we don't want to do this for 3 weeks. So let's pull this back. We'll do just the beginning of the next week, just so that we can hopefully see a pattern. And there's no compounding interest on the weekends, so let's go straight to the Monday event. So again, I hit this compounding rate on the Monday, and I pick up another 1 plus m, right? I'm going to put that straight into here as 1 plus m squared. And if we look at the exponents, there are secretly little ones in front of all of these. But again, it looks like the exponents are keeping track of how many compounding events that we've passed through, right? So at this point, we've passed through 2 Mondays, but only 1 of every other day. So if we continue on into this pattern, we know that after 3 weeks, we've passed through 3 of every single day. So the formula for how much money I should have at the end will have a 3 in the exponent of every single one of these compounding events. And so we can just write it out here. And this is the answer, and that's it. That's all there is to it. Now, you can imagine we could have made small changes to this problem to make it slightly more difficult. So for example, I could have said something like, well, let's suppose that you compound into the Wednesday of the 3rd week. And the principle is exactly the same sort of thing. You have to be a little bit more careful because you have to figure out exactly, how many Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays have I passed through because they might be different. But the same fundamental principle still applies. So again, if you remember this, that the exponent of the 1 plus rate term keeps track of how many of those compounding events you've passed through, you can do any sort of question like this regardless of what sort of curveballs are thrown at you.